Hey guys, I'm bringing you another video with the Rosh Guard and Skull Crusher team. I said I was going to bring it to you, and it's taken a little bit longer than I thought. And with it for Occult Brawler, and some of the reasons is that, well, one, the clan is doing way better in Clan Boss, but two, I tried it 3 different times, and all 3 times this happened. Wham, wham, and wham. uh, so this is the one where I finally figured out what the problem was and where it actually worked. Um, so the problem I was running into was that I didn't realize my Curse Eater was on a 4-turn run. You need to have it on 3 turn. Now the problem with that is that if you go look up anything to do with a Occult Brawler, everybody tells you never get this. Try to keep it where you don't get the cooldown reduction. And the reason for that is that you'd rather him be putting up poisons every chance he gets instead of doing this. Well, if you want him to run in this type of team, you need him to stay on point. You don't want him to run extra turns. So this will also mean the same thing with the man-eater teams with the 2 man-eaters and the pain keepers and stuff like that. So this will make him work in those teams too. So I'm just letting you know, like, this is where my problem was. I didn't realize it was on a 4 turn. I always thought it was 3 turn. It would go down to a 2 turn. My problem for not looking at the skill set. So, um, but he's just as good as Banshee and everything. So, what I ended up doing was keeping him in lifesteal, just like my frozen Banshee there, the lower leveled one. And I just wanted to test him. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of gear on him, find out it didn't work, and then have to take all that gear off again, put on somebody else. So I just wanted whatever I had laying around. So I didn't go for any exact stats. I just tried to give him as much crit chance and crit damage as I could. Speed to 191 and the accuracy as high as I could. Now, is that high enough? No, you want it higher, but this is just my test video, so I just wanted to see how it would work, get it running, because I figured I had figured it out, but I wanted to make sure instead of wasting all my time on doing it. So, uh, other than that, the masteries are support and offense. I tried to get. I got Master Hexer just to give you an extension for debuffs. You don't really need Sniper. Uh, I don't know why I selected it, but I'm not paying the gems to redo it. The lore, just extra stats more or less. And then you want to make sure you don't take those 2 abilities there because you don't want extra turn or extra speed, so you go faster and puts everything out of place. So, uh, Frozen Banshee, I'm trying to find her right now. There she is. The only thing I changed on her was I tried to get her more accuracy. So not much has changed, other than getting her more accuracy than she was before. I was noticing she was getting resisted a few times. So I could have gone down her masteries and changed that to support, but I wasn't paying again the gems to redo it. So I will be doing that on my lower level Frozen Banshee. So because I think I still have a freebie on there. Uh, so yesterday I was testing out this team for Force because I've messed up all my teams, my gear on all my guys. So now I'm having problems when it's not Void and I'm not using this team. It doesn't want to work anywhere else. So other than that, I mean, you guys will see here very quickly uh, that the thing the one thing I wanted to look for, speaking of, is I need to look for a better lead. Right now, I only got 35 accuracy being added to my team, which, don't get me wrong, it's nice in some ways because I don't have to worry quite as much about accuracy for my team, but I don't have enough. So or I don't have somebody I can think of that I can put in there right now. So that's part of the problem. Um, I don't really know of anybody else I can put up there, so offhand, but if you guys see somebody or you guys can think of somebody I should put in there that could replace one of the 2 poisoners or Razin right now, just let me know. Put it in the comments below. I'd appreciate that. So somebody I'm going to look into. I know I'm going to try Cupidus at some point here, but still working on leveling him up and everything. So uh, as for how this team goes, exact same as all the others. Nothing has really changed. Everybody goes in the same spots. No speeds have changed. Nothing. So all OB is doing is the same role as the lower level Banshee and the Nethril. So The only thing is that when it goes to just before his slam, I use Curse Eater. So, and the reason for that is if I use it right now, during this turn here, before the clan boss does his second AoE, I will get a. There will be a good opportunity later on down the line that I'll have 5 debuffs on my OB and he'll go again. So we don't want that. So going on the first turn or the third turn in the cycle will allow me to the Occult Brawler to go and not mess up any of the things. So when I set it up, I decided to go on the third turn, and the reason for that is for the poisons. I wanted to get the poisons on as quick as I could. So that's all. So now I'll use my Curse Eater on the third turn here, and there you go. Uh, he'll never get another. He'll never go get that extra turn, get extra damage or extra turn meter. Sorry. So out of all the scenarios, it's probably the best. Uh, it's probably why in the end you guys will see here that Frozen Banshee and him actually come out pretty comparable for the damage they do. Now, um, the other thing too is just like with the Banshee team, after the second go through, you can hit auto, so you don't have to worry about it. There is no problems. I probably could hit auto earlier, but I always like to go through two to make sure that a cult brawler isn't going to get slammed or one of the other guys doesn't, and it's always Skull Crusher. So that's all. Um, Other than that, guys, I'll fast forward to here right away as soon as I hit auto. So, and I'll show you guys the results of this run. But the thing I was thinking about, before I start speeding ahead, so uh, I was looking at things to. I know some people don't have these characters, so was there a way I could replace Roshguard? No, it's the Man-Eater team then. That's the only other team, or the Sir Nick with Man-Eaters. You guys have seen those videos if you guys are looking for things like that, so there is no way of replacing them. Now, is there a way we can replace Skull Crusher? I mean, you could do another counter team, but that's not what's feasible for everybody out there. It's not like everybody has a counteract team. So I've been watching videos of other people because that's where I like to get ideas from some of my videos, and I don't want to steal any of their things. This is full credit to Murder Inc. He gave me this one. Murder Inc. is very good. If you guys haven't seen Murder Inc., go watch his videos. I'll put his link in the description below to his channel. He has a very good mind of figuring some of these things out. So he was suggesting Duchess and stuff like that could replace people, and I was thinking I'm like, oh, okay, so he's talking about Duchess and people who put the whole team in Veil and take the hit for himself, and he also said like a person he'd like to try is Steadfast Marshal. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, that could work for this team. I mean, I don't have a Duchess, and I don't have a Steadfast Marshal, so until I get one of those characters, we'll have to wait and see. But you could use them in the Skull Crusher's place here, and just make it where that character will use Veil on everybody else, so it forces the clan boss to slam onto either Duchess or Steadfast Marshal. Now, the problem with that is I don't know Duchess's kit offhand, but now you're starting to get into gear intensive kind of characters because you gotta. I don't know the speeds you would need to do also, so that's a problem. So you'd have to figure it out, go from there. Which if I get the character, I'll do it for you guys. But on top of that, Steadfast Marshal doesn't have, from what I remember seeing, a very high defense. So what ends up happening is you're gonna have to stack tons of defense and health and all that onto him to make him survive, and then on top of that, get to the speed you need. So I don't. Is it feasible? I don't know. I'll test it out when I get it. It's might not be very easy, honestly. And then the thing is that achievable for people who don't have a Skull Crusher or a Valkyrie or a Martyr. And I don't know, like, to each their own. Everybody's gotten to the point where they're at in their raid profile. So I can't answer that question for you guys until I actually get to see it. So the good thing about the way this team is set up is that you don't have to have the best gear in the world. You just have to be able to hit two things. The rest of it can just fall in place as you get it. So after all my rambling and all that stuff, I'll fast forward here a bit. So that's the good thing about having it pre-recorded. Okay, oops, I went a little bit too far, but okay, so here is the ending. So At the end of this, I thought, oh, okay, and this is why I got to re-record part of the audio. Anyways, the other part got wrecked somehow. Is I'm like, okay, it's just as good as my Nethril team, and I'll show you the Nethril, my best Nethril one. So very comparable, very minimal difference. The problem is this is my best one. I never got this close again. Like the best I would have got was just below what I did on the video I was showing you here for Occult Brawler. So I was like, oh, okay. And if you see that, you're like, I got to do a third key. And what I'm trying to do for myself, and I hope you guys will try to work towards it too, is the 2-key Ultra Nightmare, and then you got 2 keys to either use it in Nightmare or wherever else you'd like. Because especially with that new Clan Boss upgrade that they're doing apparently next week, you guys can go and attack both. So you want to have the keys to get as much loot as you can. So for like myself, what I'm planning on doing after I get this and that comes out, because my clan is killing Nightmare before I even have a chance at it, is that I want to try to 1-key Nightmare next, and then my next one will be 1-keying Brutal or whatever the one below it is. I think it's Brutal, just to get as much stuff in as I can. I might as well take everything I can so I can use all 4 keys the best I can. So, but the one everybody should worry about the most is trying to get Ultra Nightmare's top uh, chest. So I want to be able to 2-key it all the time. Well, when I was doing it, yeah, I decided to do a second run. I got my best run ever with this team. So that made me think, and I'm like, well, now is this better now? Like, I don't know. Like, is this the high end and the other one was about right? Well, you think about it, they both were over 35 or right around 35. So even if 34.8 was the low end, this is the high end. That's 2 keys. So, and that's without me even optimizing Occult Brawler yet. So, I don't know. I was actually very shocked by this run because I just put my phone down, walked away, came back, and all of a sudden I look, I'm like 37.39. Okay. And just for reference, my best run for the 2 Banshee team was this, but what I will give the 2 Banshee team is it's a lot more consistent. I was always hitting over 35 and a half. I would say more over 36 all the time. So it just depends on what you guys are looking for when you're doing this. This is more friendly for you guys. You don't. I mean, we got a fusion here with Razin. We have 2 rares that shouldn't be too hard for people to get in the long run. And the books, and that's the other big thing is you got 2 people that are like, I got rare books coming out the yin yang. I never buy books. I never spend money on books. I don't know. It's not my thing. So I always feel very bad when I do it because it's like when I look at it, I get if I spend money on a crystal to summon somebody, I get something and I can use it if I get something good, anyways. Whereas if I get books, I get to maybe skill up one of their skills halfway. So that's why it's very hard for me to buy books. I know it's very backwards thinking, but so to me, this seems like more obtainable for people, this team right here, than the Occult Brawler. But some people may already have the Occult Brawler leveled up. So, like myself, well, why not use it then? You know what I mean? Um, you have a fusion, you have 2 poisoners. One could be hard to get, so you would use 2 banshees. The hardest person to get, well, 2, is Roshguard and Skullcrusher. I mean, uh, like I said, you have a chance that you can get rid of Skullcrusher. I'll test it when I get the character, but if I can think of anybody else, anything else, I'll let you guys know. So, uh, other than that, my next video will be some replacements for Razin. I'll do multiple ones. I won't do single videos on each one. So look for that, guys, in the near future. If you guys want to see somebody else replace Razin, put those in the comments because more videos the better. I'm gonna do Sandlash Survivor. I'm going to do. What else was I going to do? There's a couple other ones. I can't think of them right off the bat, but I've done the Sandlash Survivor, so I know the results to that one. And it doesn't have to be a defense down. It could be just anybody you want to see. The reason why I wanted to do Sandlash Survivor is that she increases the counterattack buff that Skullcrusher does, so that it actually lasts for both AoE turns. So. It's stuff like that. So I lose the defense down, but now I gain another round of counterattacks for my 3 attackers. So I'm going to do Cupidus as a lead. I might do it where we lose Razin, keep Razin in, lose Occult Brawler spot, so multiple times. I want to try it multiple ways. So if you guys can think of anybody else that you can do, I'll show you guys my team here. So here, I'll make that the big screen. Here's my champions. So I got a Tyrant we could try. We could try with Altan. I don't want to just do high-end guys though. Who else here? I tried the Knight Errant. He's not as good, but as Murder Inc. made him, so that's kind of a waste. But you guys can see all my guys here. If you guys see somebody you'd like to see that's maybe in your guys' vaults that you guys had there, just let me know. I'm more than willing to try leveling up some of these guys. Most of the epics I have, so I'm not even going to show you that. So if you guys have anybody, just let me know, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. See ya.